God has shown his face to everyone. We often look for signs, we seek answers, and we search for his presence in places we believe to be special. But the truth is, God has already revealed himself in the most profound and intimate way. He has shown his face to every individual, regardless of race, background, or status. His face is not hidden behind clouds, nor is it distant. It is within you, in the way you live, in the choices you make, and in the heartbeats that sustain you. You see, when God shows his face, he is not showing you a mere image of his divinity, but he is showing you the very essence of who you are meant to be. Every moment you experience, every challenge you face, every joy you encounter, these are the manifestations of his face in your life. The smile on your face, the strength in your spirit, the resilience in your heart, they are the reflection of God's presence in your life. God does not show his face to those who have reached perfection. No, he shows his face to those who are willing to be real, to be vulnerable, to face the struggles that come with life, because it is in the imperfections that his strength is made perfect. God is not distant. He is not far away. And he is not waiting for you to do more or be more to reveal himself to you. He has already done so. You are the proof that he exists. The fact that you are alive, that you can hear, that you can see, that you can love, that you can grow, this is God showing his face to you. The world is full of distractions, and sometimes we miss it. We search for answers in the wrong places. We chase success, fame, wealth, and recognition, thinking that these things will reveal God's face to us. But the truth is, God has already placed his presence within you. You were created in his image, and his image is reflected in the way you walk, the way you talk, the way you influence those around you. You are not a stranger to God. You are his creation, his masterpiece. Every thought you have, every feeling you experience, every dream you pursue, these are all part of God showing his face to you. But you must open your eyes to see it. You must look beyond the surface and recognize that God's face is revealed not just in the good times, but also in the trials and the hardships. It is in those moments that his face shines the brightest, for he is refining you, shaping you, preparing you for something greater. And just as God has shown his face to you, he calls you to reflect his face to the world. You are his representative on this earth. The way you live, the way you treat others, the way you carry yourself, this is how the world will come to know God. The love you show, the kindness you extend, the patience you exhibit, these are all ways of revealing God's face to those around you. God's face is not just seen in moments of worship or prayer. It is seen in every action, every interaction, and every moment you live. When you choose to love, when you choose to forgive, when you choose to serve, you are showing the face of God to the world. You are his ambassador, his voice, his hands, his feet. And as you reflect his image, you allow others to see the power, the grace, and the love of God in their lives too. Remember, this God has already shown his face to you. Now, it is your responsibility to show his face to the world. Every person you meet, every soul you encounter is an opportunity to reflect his love, his mercy, and his grace. When you begin to see yourself the way God sees you, you will realize that his face is all around you, in you, and through you. Don't wait for a sign. Don't wait for a miracle. You are already walking in the miracle. You are already living in the presence of God's face. God has already revealed himself to you. We often find ourselves searching for a sign, longing for a divine encounter, waiting for some grand revelation to prove that God is present. But the truth is, he has already shown himself in the most profound and intimate ways, and we may be overlooking it because we are searching for something more dramatic or mystical. His face isn't hidden behind clouds, and his presence isn't found only in distant sanctuaries. The moment you wake up, the breath in your lungs, the heartbeat that sustains you, these are all signs of God's face being revealed to you. When you look into the mirror, you see the reflection of the Creator, the image of God himself. He has already given you everything you need to recognize his presence. You don't need to look beyond your current circumstances, your surroundings, or your own life to see that God is showing himself. His face is seen in the very fabric of your existence. Every day you wake up, God is reminding you of his presence. Every challenge, every trial you face is not just a test of your strength, but an invitation to see the face of God in the midst of those circumstances. The love you experience, the joy you feel, the pain you endure, they are all ways in which God is revealing his character to you. You might look for him in a distant dream or in a far off place, but he is already here, right beside you, waiting for you to recognize him in the ordinary moments of life. Even in moments when you feel distant from God, when you feel alone or abandoned, that's when his face shines brightest. His presence is not contingent upon your circumstances or your emotions. It is constant, it is unwavering, and it is always with you. God has already shown you his face. It's in the little things, the kindness of a stranger, the beauty of a sunrise, the laughter shared with a friend. Every detail of your life is a reflection of his divine hand. When you look deeper, you'll see that his presence is never far from you. You are walking in the miracle of his face being revealed every moment of your life. You have only to open your eyes and recognize it. God's face is reflected in you. It's easy to think that we need to go somewhere special, do something extraordinary, or be someone other than who we are to see God. We are often conditioned to believe that the divine presence is reserved for the spiritually elite or those who achieve a certain level of holiness. But the truth is, God has placed his face within each of us, and it is through the way we live our lives, the choices we make, and the experiences we go through that we see his face. Every moment of your existence is an opportunity to reflect his image because you were created in his likeness. God's face is not just something external, it is deeply internal, woven into the very core of who you are. When you express kindness, when you forgive, when you love, even when it's hard, you are reflecting the image of God. You may not realize it, but in your moments of vulnerability, compassion, and strength, you are showing the world what God looks like. His face isn't just a physical appearance, it's his character, his nature, his essence that is reflected in your actions. When you speak words of encouragement, when you stand up for justice, when you help those in need, you are making visible what is invisible, the face of God in your life. In your moments of struggle, when you feel weak or uncertain, even then, God's face is reflected in you. His image is not limited to your success or your strength, but it shines through your resilience, your determination, and your ability to rise again. When you are broken, when you are hurt, God's face is reflected in your healing. You see, his face is not simply a symbol of perfection, but a reminder of grace, forgiveness, and redemption. It is in your willingness to heal and grow that you allow God's face to shine through you in the most powerful way. In your dreams, in your desires, in the aspirations you pursue, God's face is seen. Your unique talents, gifts, and passions are reflections of his divine fingerprint on your life. You don't have to go looking for a divine encounter to witness God's face. You can find it in the way you live, in the way you show up for others, in the way you lead your life with purpose and integrity. Every choice you make, every path you take is an opportunity to reflect the face of God and to make his presence visible in the world. God's face is not hidden away from you. It is already there, right in front of you. When you look at yourself, when you examine your heart, when you see how you love, forgive, and live, you are witnessing the face of God in all its glory. You don't need to look beyond yourself to find his presence. You have already been created as his reflection. The way you live your life, the way you respond to the world, and the way you treat others all show the face of God to the world. You are the living image of the divine, and in everything you do, you reveal the face of God in ways beyond what you may even realize. God does not wait for you to be perfect before showing his face to you. Often we believe that we need to clean ourselves up to be free from flaws, weaknesses, and imperfections before we can truly experience God's presence. We think we need to be good enough, that we must meet some standard of holiness to be worthy of his attention. But that's not how God works. His face is not reserved for the flawless, the righteous, or the ones who have everything together. In fact, it is in our imperfections that God's face shines the brightest. You don't need to wait until you've overcome every obstacle or healed from every wound to experience God's presence. His face is revealed in your struggles, your doubts, your mistakes, and your growth. God sees you as you are, not as someone who has to be perfected first, and he meets you in your humanity. He is not waiting for you to become someone else, to put on a mask, or to act in a way that pleases others. He is right there in the middle of your journey, walking beside you, revealing himself even in your pain, your confusion, and your brokenness. When you feel inadequate, unworthy, or less than whole, Remember that God is not looking for perfection in you. He is looking for your willingness to be real, to be vulnerable, to face your challenges head on with faith. It is in the moments where you don't have it all figured out that God's face becomes most evident. He shows up in the middle of your mess, in the middle of your mistakes, and in the middle of your hurt. His grace, His love, His mercy are all shown to you in those very moments. God's face is revealed to you not because of your own perfection, but because of His unfailing love and His willingness to meet you where you are. He wants to walk with you through your imperfection, to help you grow, to transform you into the best version of yourself. His face is not hidden from you because you're not perfect. It is revealed to you precisely because you need Him. You need His guidance, His strength, His peace, and His presence, and God knows that it is in your imperfection that you will experience His power in the most real way. In the moments of failure, in the moments when you don't feel like you can go on, that is when God's face shines brightest. His grace is more evident in your weakness than in your strength. In your vulnerability, He steps in, showing His love and presence more clearly than you can ever imagine. It is in those times that He works miracles, not because you've earned them, but because His love is so abundant, it reaches you exactly as you are. You don't need to clean up your life to be worthy of His face. He is already there, waiting to reveal Himself to you in the middle of your journey. It is in your imperfection that God's beauty shines most powerfully, and it is there you will find His presence more intimately than ever. God's presence is not something distant or separate from you. It is within you. From the moment you were created, God's face was woven into the very fabric of your being. Every breath you take, every heartbeat you feel, every step you take is evidence of God's face being present in your life. You don't have to look far to find Him. He is right there within you. Your very existence is a testament to the fact that God is with you, surrounding you, and working through you in ways you may not even realize. The life you live, the opportunities you have, the dreams you pursue, all of it is a reflection of God's intimate involvement in your life. Think about it. The air that fills your lungs is not simply a product of nature. It is a divine gift. The blood that courses through your veins, the mind that processes thoughts, the emotions that rise within you, they are all gifts from God. Each of these aspects of your being serves as a constant reminder that God is not a far-off deity, but a close and personal God who resides within you. He is not just present around you. He is deeply embedded in your very core. His Spirit dwells in you, guiding you, comforting you, and empowering you to face the challenges of life. You may find yourself searching for God in church buildings, in sacred places, or in times of prayer, but what if the most profound encounter you could have with God is right within you? What if God's face is shining through the way you live, think, and interact with the world? The truth is, He is already there, and He is in you every moment of the day. When you experience joy, when you feel peace, when you take a moment to simply breathe and be alive, that is God's face in you. His presence is not a future promise, it is a present reality. You are living proof that God's Spirit is alive and active within the world. Even in your lowest moments when you feel disconnected or overwhelmed, God is still within you. His Spirit never leaves you. It's easy to feel as though we have to do something grand to earn His attention, but the truth is that God is with you, whether you feel it or not. His face is reflected in your thoughts, your choices, your body, and your spirit. You don't need to search high and low for divine intervention. God is right there, inside you, in every moment, guiding you, helping you, and loving you unconditionally. When you find yourself struggling, doubting, or questioning, it is important to remember that God is not distant. His face is not hidden in some far-off place or in some future event. He is right here, right now, inside you, in your very being. You don't need to be perfect or have everything figured out for His presence to be in you. It is there regardless of your external circumstances. And when you look within, when you take the time to connect with your inner self, you will see that God's face is reflected in the very essence of who you are. It's not about waiting for a grand revelation. It's about recognizing that God's face is present every moment, in every breath, in every heartbeat within you. God's face is revealed through the world around you. We often think that to experience God's presence, we must look inward or enter a place of worship. But God has given us a world full of His reflection, and every part of it speaks to His majesty and divine nature. The beauty you see in nature, the complexity of the universe, the delicate design of a flower, the vastness of the sky, and the powerful ocean waves, they are all pieces of God's face on display. Everything in creation points to Him, and all of it is an invitation to see His face in the world He has made. The natural world around you is a reflection of God's creativity, His beauty, and His power, and when you take a moment to pause and appreciate it, you are witnessing the divine in action. When you look at the stars at night, consider that the same God who created the universe, who set the stars in their places, is the same God who knows you by name. The grandeur of the mountains, the calm of a lake, the sound of rain on a quiet evening, all are reminders that God's face is present in every element of nature. His creative genius is evident in the world around you, and every time you pause to take in the beauty of creation, you are acknowledging that God's face is right there. His handiwork is not just seen in the grand, awe-inspiring parts of nature, but also in the small, seemingly insignificant things. The intricate design of a leaf, the way the light filters through the trees, the sound of birdsong in the morning, all these things carry God's face. His presence is everywhere in the natural world, speaking to us in ways that words cannot. When you walk through your daily life, you may find moments where the beauty of nature stops you in your tracks, a moment when you realize that the colors of the sunset, the scent of flowers, the movement of clouds are not just coincidences. They are the reflection of a creator who delights in revealing his presence in the smallest and most unexpected ways. The world around you is not just a backdrop to your life. It is a living testament to God's face, a display of his eternal and unchanging love for creation. It is through nature that we come face to face with the Creator in a way that is tangible, immediate, and powerful. God's face is also revealed through the people you encounter. Every person you meet, every life you touch carries with it a reflection of God's image. The kindness you experience from others, the love shared between friends, the compassion extended in times of need, these are all expressions of God's face in human form. When you extend kindness, when you forgive, when you show empathy, you are allowing God's face to shine through you to others. And when others offer the same to you, they are reflecting God's face back to you. Every act of love and kindness, whether small or grand, is a reflection of the divine nature that exists in all of us. You might not always see it, but God's face is all around you, in every moment, in every interaction, and in every detail of life. The world is filled with His glory, and all you need to do is open your eyes and recognize it. From the natural beauty of the earth to the people you meet, God's face is constantly being revealed. It is not confined to any one place or time, but is present in every moment of your life, waiting for you to recognize it. When you do, you are reminded that you are never alone, that the Creator of the universe is actively engaged in the world, and that His face is reflected in everything around you. It is in the world, in the people you encounter, and in the beauty of creation that you can most deeply experience the presence of God. God's face is revealed through your journey, through your experiences, and even through your struggles. Sometimes we tend to think that to experience God's presence, everything must be going well, that our life must be free of challenges and pain. But the reality is, God's face is often revealed most powerfully in the times when we are least expecting it, in the midst of difficulty, in the middle of the storm. In those moments when life feels uncertain, when we are battling through hardships and when everything seems to be falling apart, that is when God's face shines the brightest. Each challenge you face is not something that God sends to harm you, but a moment in which He reveals His purpose and presence. It's in the testing of your faith, in the moments of pain, and in the face of adversity that you truly discover God's strength, His wisdom, and His grace. When you go through trials, God doesn't leave you alone to fend for yourself. He walks beside you, revealing His face in the lessons you learn, in the growth that takes place, and in the strength that you develop. Even when you feel that you're at your lowest, God is showing His face in the way that you continue to rise, the way you overcome, and the way you become stronger than you were before. The difficulties you face are not signs of God's absence, but His presence working in deeper and more profound ways. Every struggle you go through has the potential to reveal an aspect of God's nature that you might not have discovered in times of ease. God's face is revealed to you not because you are free from pain, but because you trust him to walk you through it. It is in the process of overcoming obstacles that his power, his mercy, and his love are most evident. When you are faced with a problem that seems insurmountable, when you feel overwhelmed by life's challenges, God's face is revealed in your response. It is in your resilience, your perseverance, and your faith that God shows his face. Even when you feel like giving up, his presence is what keeps you going. And when you look back on your life and see how far you've come, how much you've grown, you will recognize that God's face was with you all along. He was there in every moment of doubt, in every tear, in every failure, and in every victory. Each part of your journey, whether joyous or painful, has been an opportunity for God to reveal more of himself to you. It is through your journey that you truly understand who God is and how he works in your life. The lessons learned through struggle are the ones that shape you the most. And it is in these moments that God's face shines brightest. Through every difficulty, God is working to refine you, to mold you into the person he has called you to be. In the end, it is through your journey, both the easy and the difficult parts, that you can look back and say, I saw God's face in every moment. His presence was with you, guiding you, strengthening you, and transforming you into the person you were meant to become. And in those transformative moments, his face is more visible than ever, not because the road was easy, but because he walked with you every step of the way. God's face is revealed through the quiet whispers of your heart, in the moments of stillness where the noise of the world fades away, and all that remains is the deep yearning within you for something greater, something more. Often we are so caught up in the busyness of life, in the endless rush of daily tasks, that we forget to pause, to listen, to be still. But it is in these moments of silence and solitude that God's face becomes the most clear. He speaks to you not just in loud declarations, but in the quiet, gentle whispers of your spirit. The subtle nudges you feel, the deep sense of peace that calms your restless mind, the inspiration that flows from deep within, all of these are reflections of God's face in your life. In the stillness, you may hear God's voice more clearly. You may not hear it in the way you expect through booming words or divine revelations, but in the soft urging within your heart to move in a certain direction, to make a choice, or to simply rest in his presence. The quiet whispers of your heart are a direct communication from God, a way for him to remind you that he is near, that he is with you. In these moments, you don't need to search for his face. It's already right there, speaking to you in the language of your soul. When you take the time to listen, to tune into those whispers, you realize that God is closer than you ever imagined. His voice is often drowned out by the noise of the world. But when you step back, when you quiet your mind, his face becomes clearer, his presence more tangible. It is in those moments of silence that you experience God's love in its purest form. You may find yourself alone in a room with no one around to impress, no distractions, and no one to answer to but yourself. It is in those times that God can speak most profoundly to you. He reveals his face to you in your true self in the moments when you are honest with yourself, when you are free of pretense, when you allow God to speak to the depths of your being. The stillness invites you to embrace who you are and to open your heart to his love, to allow him to heal your wounds, calm your fears, and fill you with his peace. God's face is also seen in the deep contentment and peace that wash over you in those quiet moments. When you are still without any distractions, you begin to understand that you are enough, that you are loved, that you are exactly where you are meant to be. In the stillness, God's face is reflected not only in the comfort he gives, but in the clarity he provides about who you are and the purpose he has for you. It is in these quiet moments that you come face to face with your own soul and God's presence within it. When the noise of the world fades away, the true beauty of his presence is revealed to you. And it is in these moments of peace that you can fully experience God's face as it radiates through your spirit, reminding you that he is always near, always with you, and always guiding you toward the future he has designed for you. God's face is revealed through the trials and triumphs of your life. In every situation, whether it's a victory or a challenge, God's presence is woven into the fabric of your journey. Life is a mixture of highs and lows, joy and sorrow, ease and struggle, and it is in the full spectrum of experiences that God's face is made manifest. In your successes, God's face shines in the glory of his favor. When you accomplish something, when you reach a goal, When you fulfill a purpose, it is not just your effort or your strength that has led you there. It is the grace and power of God that has enabled you to overcome the obstacles in your path. In those moments of triumph, God's face is seen in the blessing of His presence, His guidance, and His provision. But it is also in your struggles, your setbacks, and your failures that God's face is revealed in profound ways. We often look at difficulties as obstacles or as signs of God's absence, but the reality is that God is closest to you when you are facing trials. In moments of hardship, when it feels like you cannot go on, God's face appears in the strength you did not know you had, in the hope that rises from deep within you, in the peace that surpasses all understanding. When you are weak, He is strong, and His face is revealed through the ways in which He sustains you, strengthens you, and helps you rise above the challenges you face. Through every trial, God is teaching you, refining you, and shaping you into the person you are meant to be. Your difficulties are not there to destroy you, but to develop you, to make you more resilient, more compassionate, and more reliant on His strength. In the midst of your struggle, when it feels as though you are walking through fire, you can rest assured that God's face is with you, protecting you, guiding you, and preparing you for greater things. Through these trials, His face is revealed as your protector, your healer, your provider, and your strength. And when you emerge from the trial, when you stand victorious on the other side, it is then that you truly see God's face in the form of His faithfulness and His love. The victories, both big and small, become a testament to the goodness and grace of God. Every triumph is a reminder of how far He has brought you, and in every victory you witness God's hand at work in your life. As you look back on your journey, you begin to see the intricacy of God's plan and how every challenge, every victory has been an opportunity for His face to shine brighter in your life. It is in the trials and triumphs that you experience the fullness of God's presence, that you see His faithfulness in action. Each phase of your life, whether filled with joy or sorrow, success or failure, is an opportunity to witness God's face. His face is not just revealed in the moments of ease, but in every moment of your journey, and it is through each experience that you come to know Him more deeply and intimately. Every trial and triumph is a part of your story, a part of God's story, where His face is revealed and His glory is made known. God's face is revealed through the people He places in your life. Sometimes we seek God's presence in grand, miraculous ways, expecting signs and wonders, but we often overlook the fact that God reveals Himself through the relationships and connections we have with others. It's easy to take people for granted or to focus only on what they can give us, but the truth is, God places certain people in our lives for a purpose. Each individual that comes into your life is part of a divine plan, an instrument through which God's face is revealed to you. These people might be your family, friends, colleagues, mentors, or even strangers who cross your path for a moment. Every encounter, every relationship holds the potential for God to speak to you and show you more of who He is. Sometimes God's face is revealed through the love and care of others. You may experience His love in the kindness of a friend who supports you through difficult times, in the compassion of a stranger who lends a helping hand, or in the encouragement of a mentor who believes in your potential. God's face is seen in the way these people reflect His love, His grace, and His mercy. Their presence in your life serves as a reminder that God is always with you, working through the people around you to show you His character. Other times, God's face is revealed through the challenges that people bring into your life. Not all relationships are easy, and some people may even hurt you or cause you pain. Yet, even in these situations, God is revealing His face in deeper and more transformative ways. Sometimes the people who challenge us the most are the ones God uses to help us grow, to teach us patience, to develop our character, and to reveal parts of our own heart that need healing. These difficult relationships, though painful, become the crucible in which we are refined, where our true selves are revealed, and where God's face shines through in the lessons we learn. The people in your life are not just random occurrences or coincidences. They are the vehicles through which God reveals Himself, whether it's through their love, their actions, or even their challenges. When you begin to look at the people around you with the understanding that God is using them to shape you and reveal more of Himself to you, you begin to see His face in ways you may have never expected. Every relationship is an opportunity for God to show you something new about yourself, about others, and about Him. In addition, sometimes the greatest revelations of God's face come through the people who inspire us, the ones who show us what it means to live a life that reflects God's love, peace, and purpose. You may see God's face in the selflessness of a caregiver, the integrity of a colleague, the humility of a servant, or the wisdom of an elder. These people, through their actions and attitudes, become a living example of God's nature, teaching us how to live according to His will. Ultimately, God reveals His face through the people He places in our lives, whether they bring us joy or challenge us in ways we never anticipated. Each individual is a part of God's intricate design, a piece of the puzzle that, when viewed from a higher perspective, shows us more clearly the fullness of His love, His purpose, and His plan for us. The relationships in your life are not mere happenstance. They are divine connections that bring you closer to understanding God's face and the ways in which He works in your life. So embrace the people around you, not just for what they offer, but for the way God is revealing His presence through them, shaping you, refining you, and leading you closer to Him. God's face is revealed in the stillness of your heart, where His presence dwells when you invite Him in. Often we look for God in the external world, in events and circumstances, expecting Him to show up in grand and dramatic ways. But God's true face is often revealed in the quiet, peaceful moments of reflection and contemplation. When you allow yourself to slow down and be still, you create space for God to reveal Himself to you in profound and intimate ways. The stillness of your heart is like a sanctuary where you can encounter God, where His presence speaks directly to your spirit without the distractions of the world around you. In these moments, God's face is not distant or unreachable. It is personal and intimate, waiting for you to draw near. It is in the stillness that you hear His voice most clearly, when everything around you quiets down and you can focus on the depth of His love and the direction He is leading you. Often, the noise of our daily lives drowns out God's voice. Our thoughts race. The demands of work, family, and social life pull us in every direction, and we forget to pause and listen. Yet, when we intentionally seek moments of stillness, we create the opportunity for God to speak directly into our hearts, offering peace, wisdom, and guidance. The stillness allows you to connect with God on a deeper level, not just in intellectual knowledge or religious practice, but in the quiet surrender of your soul. In those moments of calm, you allow God to remind you of who you are and whose you are. You begin to understand that you are not just a product of your circumstances, but a beloved child of God, created in His image and called to fulfill a divine purpose. His face shines brightly in the peace that fills your heart when you allow Him to come close, when you stop striving and simply rest in His presence. Moreover, in the stillness, God reveals His face through the deep inner transformation that takes place. As you allow yourself to be still before Him, He begins to work within you, removing the distractions and impurities that keep you from fully experiencing His presence. The stillness is like a mirror, reflecting back to you not just who you are, but who you can become in Him. It's in this sacred space of quiet reflection that God shapes you, molds you, and prepares you to walk more fully in His will. It's in the silence that you discover a new depth of faith, a new level of understanding, and a new awareness of God's character and His plan for your life. God's face is not just revealed in external circumstances, but in the peace, the comfort, and the transformation that happen within you when you are still and open to His presence. In a world that constantly pushes us to be busy and to perform, the stillness is a sacred gift, a time to reconnect with God, to hear His voice, and to experience His love in ways that are not possible when we are caught up in the chaos of life. When you embrace stillness, you embrace a deeper relationship with God, allowing His face to shine brightly in your heart, bringing clarity, peace, and purpose to your life. It is in these quiet moments that you truly encounter the heart of God and see His face in all its beauty and glory. In every moment of our lives, whether in triumph or trial, in our relationships or in solitude, God is revealing His face to us. His presence is not confined to grand gestures or dramatic events. It is found in the everyday moments, in the quiet reflections, in the people we encounter, and in the strength we receive during our struggles. As we become more aware of His presence, we recognize that God is continually shaping us, guiding us, and revealing His love in ways we may never fully understand but can always feel. By embracing the stillness, the relationships, the challenges, and the victories, we open ourselves to seeing God's face in a deeper, more intimate way. He is not distant or far away. He is always with us, working through our experiences to reveal his love, grace, and purpose. As we allow ourselves to slow down, listen, and look at the world around us with eyes of faith, we begin to see God in every corner of our lives. So let us be intentional in recognizing his presence, knowing that God's face shines in both the joyful and painful moments. As we seek him in all things, we grow closer to understanding his heart and his purpose for our lives. God's face is ever before us, revealing his love, his grace, and his calling. The question is not whether God is showing his face, but whether we are willing to see it in the ordinary and the extraordinary moments of life. Let us choose to look with eyes of faith, to seek his face in all things, and to embrace the fullness of his presence in our lives.